like do 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 do, like do 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy crazy, oh oh crazy, oh 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 crazy, do 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 crazy, do 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 crazy, do 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 crazy, do 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 crazy crazy, do do like do 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 do, like do 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 crazy, oh do do like do 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 do, like do 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 crazy, oh.
Welcome everyone to Titan Esports. We are on the final regular season week of Divinity League for this summer split. I'm Caleb Pang. I'm joined with Chong, and today we have a head-to-head matchup between Vice City Brewmasters versus LG Mirage. And both teams probably have their playoff spots locked in, but this will be for seeding purposes, bragging rights, and great prep for the playoffs. How are you doing today, Chong?
I'm doing great. Excited to be here after some issues on my end. Losing power for about 5 days was real fun. Missed a banger series last week from what I was being told before we got here, but excited to be back for the last week of the regular season. Like Caleb had said, these guys are fighting for that seeding because of the way the playoff bracket is structured. The first tiebreaker is head-to-head, and in theory, the only team that could be knocked out from this point would have been Vice City Brewmasters, but they already do have the head-to-head victories over Seneca Swarm and over MVE Calamity, locking them in for that last spot, whether it is the third or the fourth seed, depending on the results of the series here tonight.
Yeah, and this will be the first week, at least on Divinity League, that lock will be eligible for draft purposes. So we might see that. We might see some lock bans, or maybe we see players that aren't comfortable enough to run him yet in the last week. But honestly, maybe in a week where, for just seeding purposes and nothing else particularly on the line, maybe it is the time to lock in that new mid laner slash jungler. So we'll kind of see how that goes as we are getting ready to go into draft. This is again a best of 3 fearless style. So any champion selected in the previous games cannot be selected for future games. And of course, everything's on table for game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in this game. We have, I believe it was Vice City Brewmasters coming in with an E-sub here for game number 1. So you're going to see them miss their first 2 bans and only be eligible for 1 singular ban in this one, while the side of LG, they just get to thin out the champion pool of Vice City even more. But there's kind of sometimes like a hidden advantage with having your E-sub and 2 of the bans being gone, because that means a lot of the power picks are going to be available for as long as that E-sub plays, but it also hands over the 1 tricks to the side of the LG players, since they can only target 1 down on the side of Vice City. So we'll have to see what they choose to use their 1 and only first phase ban with.
All right, and we do have some of the bans already coming through on the side of LG, and okay, we're gonna get the Vibe band out as a band from Vice City Brewmasters. First pick, blue side LG, and let's see what they're going to prio here. Could be an ADC, could be a support too. It's going to be the Wukong actually instead. It's going to be the jungler. So blind Wukong pickup, pretty solid I think into a lot of matchups. So could be a good start for the side of LG.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wukong is still the strongest jungler on the patch, and we're gonna get a Lee Sin answer immediately. Not what I was expecting to be picked down here in this elo, so we'll have to see how it does perform. But like I was saying, Wukong is kind of just the best jungler on the patch right now. I think he's stronger than Xin Zhao and Jarvan, so it makes sense that that is the first pick for the side of LG. But on the side of Vice City, they're going to pair the Lee Sin with the Ahri, so already a lot of damage threat, a lot of pick potential on their team comp. So we'll have to see how they build the draft around that, as they're going to be picking up the Ashe on the side of LG. Seraphine is still available, so could look to pick that one and have just a really strong 1-2-3 combination, as that is exactly what they're going to do. This is a bread and butter simple draft so far for the side of LG. Wukong, Ashe, Seraphine. I don't think it doesn't get much better than that, honestly.
Yeah, fantastic team finding as well. So we get a Nautilus pickup too. So going to reveal the mid laner early on the side of Vice City Brewmasters, but we could set ourselves up for probably a hyper carry on the side of Vice City Brewmasters, as they're going to ban out Swain to start things off too. Yeah, I mean, I guess Swain could be good, right? There's a lot of, close range or melee champions already on the side of Vice City, and Swain with Seraphine extra healing could be pretty annoying to deal with.
I mean, yeah, exactly like you put it, Caleb. You already said that LG has a really strong team fight draft, and Swain just makes it that much stronger, because they're going to get hit up by the Cyclone, by the Wukong. He's going to come in with his Leandries, pop that Demonic Ascension. Nobody on the side of Vice City is going to be able to move with all the Ashe flows, the Seraphine roots, make it almost impossible for them to do anything. Smolder and Misfortune are going to be the phase 2 bans for the side of LG, trying to limit that 80 carry pool a little bit more. And it's going to be Hamilcar going to be piloting that Senna here in game number 1. So only Nautilus so far as a frontline champion for the side of Vice City, so we'll have to see what they do pick in the top lane, because they also did ban away the Ornn, as Syndra just going to be the answer for No Name into Taishi's Ahri in game number 1. We'll have to keep our eyes on that matchup, as there is a lot of kill potential in the mid jungle side for Vice City.
Yeah, definitely. And we get the Poppy pickup as the final champion. Going to be on that top side for LG. I mean, if team fighting wasn't already solid for the side LG, if you're caught in a bad position, you could just ult out some of the enemy teams and give yourself a numbers advantage right off the bat. So, and it's going to be Renekton as the pickup back into the Poppy. Interesting pickup there too. I don't really know if it's not really like a hard counter matchup there, and the Poppy can still slow down the Renekton quite a bit. I really like the draft to LG on this first game. What are you thinking here, Chong?
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. I think LG's draft here in game number 1 is extremely strong, extremely simple. As why is Okay, I got very confused seeing Silas in the mid lane when I was like, did Syndra not get picked? But regardless of that, I think the Renekton R5 is interesting because, like you said, it isn't really a hard counter pick into the Poppy. I think Poppy does fairly well into the Renekton, but then also it doesn't help Vice City with that front line. It's going to be Nautilus's solo front line, and everybody knows that Nautilus is notoriously the highest death champion in League of Legends, because you go in, there's no way to get out. So Soul Muncher are going to be doing it alone in this game, and if the side of Vice City isn't there to back him up, that KDA is not going to be looking pretty. He's going to be looking like an Inter, but Elegy is just simple, clean, easy to execute down here in the Platinum E4 cap elo. So I kind of expect him to come away with the win here in game number 1, unless Vice City has the hands to pull this one off.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff at presence from a Dark Laser is going to be really useful in a lot of these situations, right? Like, you got ways to slow down the Ahri, the Lee Sin, and then, even the slice and dice from the Renekton. So I really like that pickup a lot. And, at this point, I think it's just Hamilcar is going to have to get those stacks as soon as possible to get those souls and try to go into that late game, because the team fighting, like we said, from LG, very, very solid. Decent, consistent damage as well. I guess in some ways you could say maybe they had to play a little bit around their cooldowns, particularly the Syndra, but you have some more consistent damage coming out from the Wukong, the Ashe as well, Poppy to a degree too. So, and it's not like the Seraphine cooldowns are particularly long either outside that Encore. So, Vice City Brewmaster, they got their work cut out for themselves for this game number 1, but let's see if they have what it takes. Yeah, I mean, I think if Dark Laser isn't in the fights, it's a little bit more playable, but once that Poppy shows up, you're going to cut off a lot of mobility from Vice City Brewmaster's squad side of things.
Yeah, and like a big thing also with the LG comp is it's not only good at team fighting, it has a lot of pick potential too, with the Ashe Arrow, Wukong Cyclone, followed up by Scatter the Weak from Syndra. Just potentially immediately delete Hamilcar before you can have any impact on the team fights, with those healing and damage that can come out from Senna can be absolutely massive. And then, like we already elaborated on, just the team fight is so good, but Vice City, like, this is what I would expect, like, the LPL to draft sometimes, and just, like, be like, we're just going to try to hand stiff you and see what happens. So, like, maybe Vice City, they feel like this is their best draft for game number 1, and it's definitely going to be interesting to watch. I think my eyes are really going to be on Nihao Dylan. I think he started out the season playing top lane for this team. I think when we first casted them, and now he's playing in the jungle role. So gonna have to see how he does perform on this Lee Sin in a different role this time around. But definitely going to be a banger game number 1 here.
Definitely, yeah. And again, there's stuff on the line here, but both teams will be making it to those playoffs. So could be just a good last week of some practice, getting some reps in, trying some different compositions as they are, looking to head into playoffs next week and see how it goes. We've seen both these teams before too on the broadcast, 2 separate different weeks, so they haven't played against each other, I believe, this season, the split. But this will be the first time, and there's a chance that they meet again in the playoffs, so could be a good warm-up round for them.
Yeah, and I mean, we said there's no real stakes in this one because both teams have made the playoffs, but I think getting that 3rd seed might be absolutely massive coming out of the side of Group A, which these 2 teams are, because you get to avoid Andromeda Esports Avengers, who is the current perfect season record so far, 6-0, 12-0 game score, and they've just been on a tear. So if I'm these two teams in this game, I'm looking at that third seed and being like, this is the one we got to aim for. We don't want no fourth seed coming into this one with our season ending in the first round of playoffs.
Yeah, 6-0 is one thing, but 12-0 is absolutely bonkers, and that is definitely a scary opponent. But I guess if you want to win it all, then you got to beat the best anyway. So maybe a good way to approach it is just deal with them round one, see if you make it through. As we get a slight little invade here from Niall Dylan and Taishi. Maybe just going to drop a ward here, but Mr. Geeky and Hug Life is there. Do you recall the Ash player's name? Because that is a lot of Chinese characters that I cannot read.
That's Bob. That's Bob. Bob
Okay,
is
Bob.
the Ash player. It is Bob. I think the more interesting thing to me, besides Bob's name, is Niall Dylan on the Lee Sin has gone for the green smite, not going for the red smite this game on a super aggressive early jungler, trying to get that bit of tenacity. So definitely trying to do his best to be like a pseudo frontline for his team with boosted sandwich on the Renekton. So maybe it's going to work out for them, but maybe not having that little bit of additional damage could actually change the way that a team fight comes out. So definitely going to be watching that one, as Darth Laser just getting some early trades onto boosted sandwich here and just having a good time in this lane. So far in the early lane, the R5 Renekton not really working out the way you would expect it to.
Definitely, yeah. You do have some skirmishing power though with that Renekton, but we'll kind of see how that lane starts off, because I mean, if you get fed early on too and can slow down the Poppy, then that late game won't be nearly as consequential. But we're seeing the power of the Seraphine Ash lane already. CS pretty much even, but going to do a lot, as Descena did start with that Dorn's Helm, recognizing that lane's going to be a little bit harder to play into. So just going to go for the sustain and just grabbing as many souls as possible.
Yeah, but already using both health potions is absolutely massive. Boosted Sandwich gets a huge trade onto Death Laser and then has to use his own flash. I think he has the kill there if he doesn't flash, honestly. I'm not sure what the cooldowns are, but Death Laser was extremely low and the wave was absolutely in favor for Boosted Sandwich. So not having that summoner now, Hug Life might be looking at that top lane more than he's looking at the bot lane.
Yeah, no Ignite available for Darth Laser. Could be a little bit tougher to kill, as here comes Niall Dylan on the Lee Sin, going for the gank. Dredge9 does land, and Ash forces a flash out, but the Sonic Wave does connect, and it's going to be rooted up. First blood going over to Niall Dylan.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just a good punish by the side of Vice City Brewmasters, the side of Elegy, their bot lane, using their wards extremely early in this lane to try to get bush control instead of looking for that early gank, which Lee Sin is able to do with that level 3, especially with the Nautilus Senna lane. So just a really good punish. You get both summoner spells out of the enemy Ash, you get the heal out of Mr. Geeky on the Seraphine as well, and still walk away with first blood, and it goes over to your Lee Sin too, who wants to get that gold early. I think that's a massive play for Vice City in this first game.
Yeah, both summoners spend by so much, but more crucially, Hamilcar still has the cleanse and flash up, so going to be much easier to go for some trades later on in when they come back into lane. So despite the aggressive lane, they still do something here, as top laners are just going to skirmish around a little bit. No killing power right there. Mr. Geeky is here. It's going to be charmed up. We're going to take a good chunk of damage, trying to relieve some pressure off for No Name, but ends up taking a good chunk of damage themselves and might have to go for a reset, but no, Mr. Geeky just going to stay around in this area and just letting Bob just kind of do some things by himself in that bot lane.
Yeah, No Name also, we saw right there with the stun onto Taishi, actually played the turret range really well. Didn't even get hit by a single turret shot to get a good chunk of damage onto Taishi Miwa. Also interesting that he's gone for the Deathfire Touch this game on the Syndra. Not typically the rune you see a lot of times. I think it's normally Airy or First Strike are the two. Haven't seen a Deathfire Touch be the go-to for a Syndra yet this season. So definitely interesting. Maybe he knows something that I don't, as I don't play mid lane, and if I do, I'm just playing Annie and being a stun bot. But we'll see how it works for him, honestly. I mean, it seems like it's okay so far. He's already up 10 CS. Maybe that's a little bit because Mr. Geeky was in his lane for a little bit, helping him shove out the wave, but has a good CS lead over the Ahri, which is pretty massive for Syndra, because getting those spikes on your passive is massive for the execute threshold. Is Boost Sandwich going to get stunned into the wall?
And Sefet's presence is going to be dropped. Boosted Sandwich just going to dish out some damage back. But you can see, like, the lack of Ignite here is really going to make it a little bit harder for these top laners to really kill each other, particularly Darth Laser cutting through the healing of a Boosted Sandwich as they're going for more trades. But Nihal Dylan is here for an additional gank. And let's see if Darth Laser has a way to get out of this. Steadfast presence is dropped. Nihal Dylan try to wait out the cooldown, and fantastic patience there as he picks up a second kill. Dredgeline connects, meanwhile, onto the bot lane. Bob going to be stunned up, but they're going to turn the damage back around as they're waiting for the cooldowns. So much you can do, only just slowly walk out there as Last Embrace and not going to land. But Nihal Dylan is so far all over the map and really paying off.
Yeah, like you said, just great patience out of Dylan there on the Q2 after connecting, and just waits for the Steadfast present, knows he gets the bonus damage. The lower they are, gets the auto attack in. Easily done. Well played by Boosted Sandwich too, just kind of forcing Death Laser to try to get that wave under turret to get that big reset with that wave, and just punished really well. Also in the bot lane, Mr. Geeky and Bob had an angle onto Soul Muncher there, but Mr. Geeky goes for the root with the beat drop onto Hamilcar instead of just throwing it at Soul Muncher, who was just being slowed up the entire time. So not the biggest fan of that one. Probably could have traded back onto the Nautilus there because he does not have flash. But in the meantime, the side of LG are able to pick up that first dragon as Hug Life was able to sneak that one away, get that for themselves. He is up in CS, obviously, but down in the kills. But Wukong really wants to hit that level 6 before he's looking for any of these ganks, because that Cyclone is so massive as he's able to hit it. And also, getting ahead on the Smite item is massive, because the earlier you get yours online, the easier it is for you to get those objectives, because they cannot be contested over anymore by the side of Vice City. They have to win the team fight because they can't go for the coin flip, because their jungler will just get outsmoted every single time.
And you can see too, as top lanes are going to continue skirmishing, Ruthless Pleasure is going to stun up Darth Laser, but Darth Laser is able to get out of there quite okay. And you can see Hug Life just, committing to just farming down things and saying, you know what, if you want to go for a gank, that's fine. I'm going to just grab as many of these camps as possible, set up for late game. I think outside of that CS differential, the big one is in this mid lane. No Name does have the range advantage over Taishi, but Taishi hasn't really died yet. So overall, kind of a slower game there too, as Last Embrace is not going to land onto the Seraphine.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing than not dying for Taishi or for No Name is, like, yes, he's not getting the kill onto Taishi Miwa, but Ahri can impact the map. You are constantly being shoved under your own wave, being poked out. You cannot impact the map the way an Ahri wants to, which is a good thing for the side of Elegy, despite being down the 2 early kills, because that means the Ahri Lee Sin combo can't be used to impact the game, as Dylan going to look for an invade onto the Gromp, but the control wards there just going to walk away from that one. But I think No Name keeps just playing this lane like this, as we see that the unleashed power was used on the side of the screen there, trying to get the solo kill onto Taishi Miwa, but Taishi extremely low. It's going to be okay, but everybody hovering around the mid lane right now. You see Boosted Sandwich even comes down for the Void Grubs, the side of Vice City not wanting to give this one over, and with No Name having no ultimate and being relatively low on HP, being at that halfway mark and the number advantage, they just are going to choose to give over those Void Grubs, which I think is a smart play. You got the first dragon, you're willing to give over the next neutral objective, and then just play for the next play for your side, which could be around that mid lane with Taishi being low, but having Spirit Rush makes it a little bit more difficult.
You can see So Much are sitting on a ward there, so Darth Laser shouldn't walk up too much further up. As you can see, Taishi going for the kill here, might be able to get it. No Name just barely tries to get out, but doesn't do it, as the auto will finish off the Syndra. So a fantastic pickup for Taishi. As you can see, Taishi is over 26 CS behind, so going to get some crucial gold there, as the Last Embrace is not going to stun up Bob, and now they're going to push this wave as much as possible, knowing that So Much was there on the roam, knowing that they have this numbers advantage for a little time period. We're going to try and make the most of this, as Hamilcar going to be rooted up, taking a good chunk of damage, and now Hug Life here to try to push the agenda. Let's see if they can grab the Senna. There's going to be spotted from the ward, as Hug Life is going to go in. Cyclone coming through, and Hamilcar does get smacked to death with that stick. Nihal Dylan, though, coming in here. Sonic Wave does land, but you see the flash off on the Seraphine. Meanwhile, Taishi gets a fantastic charm and does almost get Mr. Key. Yes, one more auto will do it, and they punish Hug Life on the backside as well. Boosted Sandwich is here, too, joining in the fray. 4 members strong on that bot side, sending a message to Bob on that bot lane. Probably not even necessary, as Bob was about to go down just to even the turret from based on where he was positioned.
Yeah, I didn't see the TP from Boosted Sandwich. I just saw Bob walking forward to throw out an Enchanted Crystal Arrow after his team died. And I'm like, what is he doing? And I guess in that situation, you're just dead either way. But why even waste the ultimate at that point? Just save it and look for a play after that. But really well responded there by the side of Vice City. The dive was able to be used by the side of LG. They had it set up, but the vision spotted out Hug Life, and the roam immediately is there for Tyson Miwa off the recall after getting that solo kill. Is rewarded, picking up another one and an assist. Nihao Dylan gets a kill as well, and Boosted Sandwich with the TP does not come in vain, gets a kill of his own. So the side of Vice City off early in this game with a early game composition, because you have that Renekton, Lee Sin, Ahri combination, is very good for them. So we'll have to see how they can keep up the pace in this game. They haven't exploded the gold lead. It is just that kill advantage for them so far in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, despite being a little behind on CS at certain points too, you see as Taishi's going to get chunked out quite a bit from No Name. Their macros has been fantastic. I'm not sure so much about that Boosted Sandwich TP, but outside that, they've just been there responding to the fights, right? They might have lost their Senna, but they got, I think, 3 members in return as a trade-off. So fantastic recovery. And they do have, despite the early early game champions they do have, they still have that late game win condition with Senna too. So they're just trying to ensure that they can make it into that late game if it comes to it. But so far, they've been kind of winning a lot of these team fights, but we haven't seen a straight 5v5 yet, so that could be the real deciding factor here, as looks like LG going to start working on the second Drake, but the rest of the team from Vice City Brewmasters here, Sonic Wave is going to land, and Charm lands as well onto Hug Life. Hug Life already chunked quite a bit, forced to use the Cyclone defensively just to get out there, and that looks like the second Drake is going to go over the side of Vice City Brewmaster.
Yeah, I just don't like the way LG played that one at all. They could have looked to pinch onto Soul Muncher, who was in the bot lane alone, but they kind of just group up and make it kind of free for Nihao and Taishi to pick them off. Just a little bit too afraid of a solo Nautilus when, like we said, you have a lot of ways to make plays on their composition. You have a lot of CC set up, and they just don't go for anything. Give over the dragon, almost lose Hug Life as well. Just not really prepared for the play there around the dragon. Also, Ashe going with the Kraken Slayer this game. I have not seen that in forever. I don't know if it got buffed recently. I don't know. I'd have to look into that one.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it in some of my Platinum games too, but I don't know if that's really the metric for what's meta and what's not. But Bobby is going to complete that first item up before Himilakar is going to complete up his Static Shiv. Yeah, overall, though, I will say LG doing a good job of staying pretty much even in gold despite the kill differential. They just have massive CS leads. I mean, the Syndra by herself has a crazy CS lead, 40 CS already ahead in under 13 minutes is actually kind of insane. But you can see Bob with a sizable CS lead as well. However, Senna going to get a lot of those souls, get some gold back as well. So that one's not as consequential. But we really need to see No Name put that gold lead to work. Or I should say CS lead, because maybe not that much of gold lead with the 2-0-1 Ahri on the other side.
Yeah, and I mean, the gold is even. I'm not sure, besides the CS lead, it must be played somewhere that got it to have LG be even in gold in this game. But I did look it up. This is not the Ashe build into even the Senna matchup or just at all whatsoever, but they're going to be making a play bot lane.
Ooh, Depth Charge going to land, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to slow down the Nautilus, and here comes Hug Life for the additional backup, and Hug Life is going to be rewarded for his gank, as he's going to take up one, and a few more autos might do it. The flash forward from Hug Life, and he picks up the double kill. Meanwhile, they're going to grab even more plate gold off the bottom side, and Nihao Dylan coming in here for the 1v3 hero fight, as Taishi is a little bit behind him. Encore does land onto Dylan, and Dylan has nowhere to go. Can you make the hero play for Taishi? Taishi going to get at least one in response, and still survives to tell the tale, but maybe a little bit too aggressive there from Nihao Dylan. Not recognizing the mid laner is going to be a little bit behind, but wanted to stop them from getting the turret, and that does indeed slow down that progress, as now the Nautilus is coming back into the lane.
I mean, yes, Taishi is able to pick up the kill afterwards onto Bob, but Hug Life gets paid, is able to pick up the 3 kills in that play, now sitting at 4-1 on this Wukong. And he can be a massive damage threat for the composition of the side of LG and also be beefier than you expect because you got all that gold injection, can be starting to get those bruiser items a lot earlier. So I'm liking the way Hug Life is playing, at least making the plays at the right time, as now Darth Laser not going to be able to get that recall off is pretty impactful for Boosted Sandwich. We'll see what he does once this fully does channel, as Darth Laser cancels again. So not looking to give over a whole lot of turret plates up there on the top side to this Renekton. But
Yeah.
overall, LG able to just like stabilize the game a little bit because of that bot lane play.
Yeah, definitely. And LG, showing that they do have a strong team fight potential. As I mean, that was a great response from Huglight too. That was after the death charge was even used, but Huglight just in their position, ready for the fight. And here comes another depth charge as well. Maybe use defensively here, as they're not really gonna get much out of it. So much are sitting on top of a ward as well. As Enchanted Crystal Arrow does land onto Zen. The flash forward from Mr. Geeky, trying to get aggressive with this. Milkar is going to get chunked quite a bit, but Last Embrace is going to slow down the Senna. Forcing still the flash from him. Milkar is huge. And Cleanse not available as well, so going to have to be watch out for any follow-up CC on the second engage. As I think Dark Laser has been just trying to cheese Boosted Sandwich a bit and heroic charge the Renekton into the turret, but just hasn't really successfully done it, as Dark Laser has just been sitting on that TP, ready to go back in lane, but just hasn't gone back yet. Finally does, as the Rift Herald is spawned up. It looks like there's going to be a potential fight here. Nihal Dylan already chunking this Rift Herald down to half health, and Boosted Sandwich is here for the additional backup, but here comes the TP from Poppy. Poppy going to have that shield as well, and here comes the Keeper's Verdict. Can they get Nihal Dylan out of it? No, not quite, and Nihal Dylan is going to secure up the Rift Herald. You can see they're trying to grab the Rift Herald, and Taishi does able to grab that, forcing to use the flash. They do lose Nihal Dylan for that Rift Herald, but might still be worth it for them in the long run.
Yeah, they get the Herald, but the Flash and ult are used by Taishi. For some reason, Boosted Sandwich, after getting knocked out of the fight, pops Dominus as well after the play is already given up on by Taishi because they used everything. But now Hug Life is going to be the one caught out.
Ruthless Player is able to stun up Hug Life, and you can see Boosted Sandwich actually flashing over the wall, chasing down that jungler. Mr. Geeky goes down, trying to just help out the fight, but not going to be able to do much there. Buys a little bit of space for the jungler at least, and looks like the third Drake goes back over to Vice City as well. They have a firm control over this, and Boosted Sandwich just looking to skirmish whenever possible, just diving on top of that Wukong. Meanwhile, Darts Laser is going to get a lot of alone time with this turret, having spent the TP earlier for that Rift Hero fight.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just a greedy play by Hug Life, going for the dragon immediately after the play, knowing timer. Like, you should know the timers for Vice City to be able to get there. Gets punished off the Boosted Sandwich TP, has to go over the wall. He gets the flash out of the Renekton as well, so pretty good on that. And Boosted Sandwich does lose a lot for this. His turret is extremely low now, down a level to Darth Laser on this Poppy. And we'll have to see, because now LG even has the gold advantage. So it's only a slight one again, only about 1k right now, because of Hug Life getting a couple big shutdowns. And that trade did not go the way Boosted Sandwich had wanted to as soon as he gets back up into that top lane. Now Hug Life is in the area as well, but we can see Dylan looking for a potential play up there. We might just go for the Scuttle Crab instead.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, despite just like a level advantage, that actually went a lot better than I thought it would for Dark Laser. Dark Laser wasn't even dropping any significant spells to counter the combos from Boosted Sandwich. Right, Boosted Sandwich playing really well against that Steadfast Presence cooldown, but even without a Bramble Vest, Dark Bear really putting in the hurt into the Renekton, and that might not be good as we look towards the mid to late game, as Poppy is definitely a tank, and if you can hang with the Renekton, you're in a good spot. Stretch Line is going to connect. Depth Charge going to slow down the Ash, but Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to hit at point blank range. A beautiful encore, going to charge up both members of the bot lane of Vice City Brewmaster, but I don't think they have the damage, and it's actually going to be so much that picks the kill with the Ignite, and they don't lose anyone here. Meanwhile, Boosted Sandwich grabs the solo kill into Dark Laser, and the Renekton does fall shortly after from the backup of Hug Life. Both junglers on that top side, but what a beautiful fight for that bot lane of Vice City Brewmaster.
Hold on, Hug Life might die.
Yeah, Hug Life trying to kite it out here as Nihal Dylan looking to play aggressive, goes under turret, and Hug Life going to try to dance around it. There's going to be a lot of turret damage. It ends up being a 1-for-1 in this top lane. A lot expended there. Flash spent from both junglers, so maybe nothing too much lost there as this Wukong is definitely getting strong, though. 7-2 now with 2 complete items as well. 2.5, I should say.
So I really hate to do this to our producer, but if possible, I would just love to rewind back to that bot lane fight. If not, it's okay. But for some reason, Bob decides to just go melee range, like straight up goes into melee range against them, and I'm not quite sure what convinced him to do that one. It's a little far. I'm not gonna have us go all the way back, but just like they hit every ability. And he just walks up into melee range of Nautilus, gets rooted up again by Hamilcar, and then just can't outtrade the DPS. And it's just a very questionable play, because if you just place that at range, I think they pick up both kills. So I'm not really sure entirely what the communications were there on the bot lane play, but No Name gets a solo kill in the mid lane onto Taishi Miwa.
We see another Enchanted Crystal Cyclone coming through, and Soulmuncher might not survive this fight as the depth charge is going to land and slow things down a bit. Nihal Dylan looking for the additional backup. Last Embrace actually just threads the needle. Meanwhile, Encore doesn't land as well, but the consistent damage from Bob is a little bit too much for the Lee Sin to handle. And you can see the center just taking the 1v1 fight. Hug Life going for it and trying to go for the smite, but there is no flash available, and Hug Life just barely survives as they take out the turret before the final turret shot. So a great recovery from the side of LG. Meanwhile, Boosted Sandwich somehow takes a 1v1 kill over the Poppy on that top lane, which is actually kind of impressive as the Bramble Vest is built up now on the Poppy. But the action has, it was a little slow to start, but now we've really sped up the kills as we're over a kill a minute right now as another Drake is spawning in just under a minute.
Yeah, and I mean, No Name got the solo kill onto Taishi in the mid lane, picks up the first turret for his team. The bot lane play goes well for the side of Elegy. They get the kill onto Hamilcar over to Hug Life. Mr. Geeky is able to hit the turret to save his jungler's life as well. Yes, they lose the 1v1 in the top lane. They lose the top lane turret, but you get two towers for your team. You get 4 kills across the board, I believe, because they kill the whole top to bot side except for Boosted Sandwich on the side of Vice City for Elegy, and it's starting to swing their way. They're still down in kills, they're down in Drakes, but they're up in gold because of the turret plays and CS advantages that they have in certain roles. A big one in bot lane, a even larger one in mid lane as well. They even pick up that top lane outer turret now thanks to Darth Laser, who does have TP for this third dragon. But the side of Elegy, they could just start a Baron if they really want to right now.
And we can see this is going to be sole point for the side of Vice City Brewmasters, and just no one really in the area. So content on giving this up, going for that inner turret on that top side. And I think LG might be able to get it. Oh, no, there's actually a good chunk of health here. As we see, Boosted Sandwich is going to try to defend this. Should be able to. And just a little slice and dice action, clearing up the wave. They have 4 members actually on this top side, so really trying to look for a potential play. But if they don't go for this Baron, this is going to be a lot of time wasted, as the jungler is on this bot side for Vice City Brewmasters. They're going to charm up No Name, and No Name does drop quickly. Do they decide to go for the Baron, or they just try to fake it here, as they do catch up Boosted Sandwich, and Boosted Sandwich doesn't really have anywhere to go, just in a bounce house right there. That's a lot of time CC'd, and it's a tough one, but you can only do so much. Not even enough time to flash out of that one. They do pick up the top laner, but I don't know if they really got enough for that, right? They lose a Drake, they still lose their mid laner, and it ends up being just a 1-for-1 trade. Meanwhile, they still also lost that bot tier 1 turret. That Dredgeline not going to land, and Hug Life just going to walk it out here. But, giving Dragon Soul over to Vice City Brewmaster would not be a great sign, and the gold differential not that big. And again, you have that center for late game scaling, so this is still really anyone's game.
Oh yeah, 100% could be anybody's game. Despite the turret advantage being to the side of LG and the gold advantage being to them, Vice City are on Soul Point, and it's an Infernal Soul in this game. And if you give an Infernal Soul over to the Ahri and Lee Sin, they can just delete the members on the side of LG. Because we were talking about the lack of frontline for the side of Vice City. It's kind of similar for the side of LG. Like, yes, they do have Poppy, but Poppy's been nerfed so many times that, like, she really isn't as tanky as she used to be. Doesn't do as much damage as she used to be. So can easily just be deleted in these team fights. So we'll have to see what LG decides to do for this sole point, because they completely conceded that one over. Don't even get the top lane outer turret, or sorry, inner turret that they were going for. Don't get the Baron either, and kind of get punished for it a little bit because of just the way Vice City played around that one. So definitely need to have better dragons set up. Don't want to give over that Infernal Soul for free because of how powerful of a soul that is for the side of Vice City in this game. As Boost Sandwich could be caught again.
Yeah, Boosted Sandwich in no man's land as the Cyclone is going to be dropped. Dominus going to be popped to try to stay alive. Even flashes out, but then Enchanted Crystal Arrow does land and unfortunately spent everything and still gets picked off there. Definitely going to be a good sign for LG, but there's no objective up outside the Baron. I don't think they could really confidently go for that Baron. I mean, I will say too, a lot of the gold does rest on Hug Life. So even though they are ahead on golds, you know, not as much gold on your carries, right? You got a 1 and 2 and 1 Syndra and a 2, 5, 6 Ashe. Still working on that third item. So despite the gold lead and the strength of the team of LG, you know, I don't know if Hug Life gets picked off early in some of these fights, if they could really close them out, as we've seen a lot of these fights not go their way. As here comes Taichi, go for the charm and instantly blows up Bob. You have the Shadow Flame completed up. Mr. Geeky trying to run for it too, but just waiting for the cooldowns for Taichi on this charm, and charm does not actually land, just gets out of range. And Darth Laser, Hug Life is here for the backup. Here comes a aggressive TP though from Boosted Sandwich. They're looking to try to pinch off the 3 members of LG. There's going to be a huge fight here as Boosted Sandwich is going there. Ruthless Spider going to stun up Mr. Geeky, but here comes a massive encore going to charm up 2 members. However, they do have a numbers advantage here as the Milkar is going to try to land the last embrace. Boosted Sandwich slices up Mr. Geeky, and they're going to charm up Hug Life. Hug Life, the lone survivor in this fight on this bottom side, as Darth Laser and No Name just going to try to make a run for it. Boosted Sandwich trying to lock that down, but you can see here, without the Wukong, they just don't have as many places to play around this bot lane matchup, and you can see the superior team fighting is falling into the hands of Vice City Brewmasters instead.
Yeah, and that's just Bob getting caught out early. It's absolutely massive. And Transcrystal Arrow not going to connect on anybody. Does stop Taichi on that recall, but luckily for the side of LG, they do go with the jungle. Like, yes, they get the 1 kill on the side of like over against Vice City for the side of LG, but it's to the jungler. They get the kill onto Nihao Dylan, which is massive because the side of Vice City aren't able to just transition that into resets into a Baron play. So yes, you do go down a lot of members on the side of Elegy, but because you get that crucial kill onto the enemy jungler means that Baron isn't under threat. But now we're going to have another team fight in the next 30 seconds as that Infernal Soul is going to show his red face on to the Rift. So gonna have to see LG perform a better team fight, just because really haven't been doing it so far in this game, especially that last one. Hold on.
Oh, a massive Cyclone combination there, and Boosted Sandwich is going to get picked off with Soul Muncher, and this is going to be setting themselves up fantastically for this potential Infernal Soul, but I don't think they're going to contest this at this moment in time too. Let's see if I say Brewmaster maybe consider going for a Baron here, knowing that there's no way they're going to even contest this Drake, but I don't know if they have the consistent output damage. It's just going to be the Ari Senna and Lee Sin up. But what a beautiful pick off there for LG to keep them in this fight a little bit longer before they have to really fight for Infernal Soul. And you see that, you know, despite them losing some team fights here, they still have maintained their gold lead advantage. CS gaps are starting to close a bit, but there's actually still a sizable CS gap for that bot lane matchup, as they're going to look to push this turret here. And they know that the jungler and mid laner are still on the top side, so they might be just able to get this inner mid lane turret for free. And that's exactly the case. That's going to really open up the map for LG.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, a phenomenal pick set up by No Name, hitting the Scout of the Week. Then Hug Life gets over the wall. The Encore over top from Mr. Geeky, able to pick up 2 extremely quick kills. And the composition for Vice City, you did mention the potential of going for the Baron. They don't have DPS. Their AD carry is a Senna. They have a Lee Sin and Ari. They really do not have that Baron DPS. They need to get a clean team fight, 4 or all 5 members on the side of Elegy going down, and then are able to just get the Baron, unlike the side of Elegy, who can threaten the Baron after getting 2 pickoffs like that, because they have the Ashe, because they have the Wukong as well, who is a better Baron taker overall than Lee Sin, I believe, besides the steal potential. But I mean, side of Elegy, are keeping it interesting at least while still growing their gold lead. But the side of Vice City, we've seen them win these team fights. They can turn the game around at a moment's notice. So we'll have to see how and when they fully go for it. As we can see, a lot of koi items being finished up here. You can see 3 items on Mr. Geeky here. Going with that 3rd item of the Michaelis Crucible is very massive. You can see the 3 on Bob. He's got the IE Kraken. Oh wait, hold on.
Oh, Hug Life is going to find Boosted Sandwich, but maybe Boosted Sandwich found Hug Life, as Hug Life is going to be able to get out of that. And dominance was spent from Boosted Sandwich. Boosted Sandwich going to be a little bit weaker for the second part of the fight if they decide to take it, as Dark Laser is here to start chunking up Boosted Sandwich. And Sonic Wave does land on the Poppy, but not really someone you want to take the Resonating Strike into, as you do have that steadfast presence to slow down things. And I think Vice City Brewmasters, they don't really want to take this fight, right? They want to play around that dominance cooldown if possible, so they're going to try to stall and see if that's possible here. A lot of souls there for the center to grab up, but I don't think Hamilcar is going to make it out there in time. And LG, they're feeling confident there, knowing that that dominance is gone. Can they go for a push here or not? They seem like they're not really doing much with this timer, though, so kind of Vice City Brewmaster get out of there scot-free.
Yeah, I mean, classic Plat gameplay. Just don't know when to push your advantages. They're going to be clearing up the vision around the Baron pit, trying to make it dark, and not even going to try to start it up, force the TP out of Boosted Sandwich. Not very a big fan of that play. They could start out now. Wait, Enchanted Crystal Arrow is big.
It does land onto Lee Sin. Here comes Hug Life for the Flash Cyclone. Steadfast President is going to lock down Nihao Dylan. No Name's going to be one to pick that up. And now it's a run for the hills as Vice City Brewmasters, they don't have enough front line to weather this. Last Embrace does slow down Hug Life, but there's just nothing Ascendant and Art can do 2v5 into the rest of the team. I think Boosted Sandwich recognizes just going to try to push the advantage in the bot lane as much as possible. And, you know, without the Dawning Shadow, there's just no way to really even snipe this up. But another fantastic pickoff for LG. And that's the thing, right? LG, if they land their combos, there's just nowhere to go for Vice City Brewmaster. So much damage coming through. And a very ambitious steal with attempt with the Orbit Deception, but not going to be able to get it. And this is where the team fighting potential of LG really comes online. They are in that mid game, though. And this is where a lot of their power spikes really come through. And I don't know if we'll be able to get a soul check for Hamilcar soon, but let's see if the Senna has how many souls she's at right now, because you're going to start to really need it for the side of Vice City Brewmaster to really dish out the damage they want.
Yeah, and I mean, that was just a beautiful play by Bob, getting the Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto Nihao Dylan, and then immediately Hug Life is over the wall, flashes in for the Cyclone, Darth Laser gets in range, gets the slam into the wall, into the stun, heroic Steadfast Presence put up, Nihao Dylan, no chance to get away, does flash, but the damage was already coming through from the side of No Name, able to get that massive kill, as now it's another one.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow, they know there's no way of saving Soul Munchers, so they're going to take him out. 30 seconds until the next Infernal Drake spawn, and it has No Name on a rampage to pick off Boosted Sandwich. There's just so much CC on the side of LG. I mean, they have CC on every single champion, and many of the champions having multiple forms of CC, and there's just not much you can do for Vice City Brewmaster the moment that you land a pick, especially with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Bob just throwing them out and landing a lot of crucial ones, and the follow-up CC and damage is so fast from the side of LG as they're looking to push their advantage on the spot lane. Last Embrace does land, but they just have no way of even killing this team, and they're just trying to take out the wave as much as possible. There's 2 boosted cannon minions in the back, and that's not going to do much for them as they do take out that turret, and they're trying to work on that mid inhibitor turret as well. Drake has spawned up, and you see Hug Life just working on it by himself, but this might be the opening that Vice City Brewmaster can go for, as they know that the jungler is likely not in that range, especially once they see the turret go down. Death Charge is going to land onto Seraphine. Last Embrace lands onto Poppy, but do they have the damage to even take it out? So Enchanted Crystal Arrow does land onto Nautilus in a beautiful encore. It's going to charm up the entire bot lane of Vice City Brewmaster, and Boosted Sandwich is here for the fights, but there's just too much CC, too much health for them to take out, and the Cyclone there layered perfectly as the Syndra finally falls, and so does the Poppy, but do they have enough damage to finish off everyone else? Hug Life goes down as well, so Hamilcar might try to be able to do this, but no. The S Seraphine too strong there. They take the double kill, they take the ace, and they look like they're going to try to end the game. They got about 20 seconds until Nautilus comes up, and they might just be able to do it because Nautilus can't really defend this by himself.
I mean, he might be able to get the kill onto Bob, which could be massive, but remind me later to yell at Hug Life just because they had the Baron. The death timers were long on both Soul Muncher and Boosted Sandwich. Probably could have ended this game a little bit earlier. Teamfight gets a little bit too close there at the end where Hamilcar and Boosted Sandwich were almost able to fully clean it up. But luckily, the little bit of healing comes through from Mr. Gee to keep Bob alive and get Elegy the game number 1 win. And what we kind of expected them with this draft that they were able to pull off, but I think it was a phenomenal performance by Hug Life, keeping his team together and being this, I kind of think, like the sole reason why they won this game with his pressure and the way he played this game on the Wukong.
Yeah, and just the fall damage from all members has been incredible from Elegy, right? I mean, it was just CC central, especially by the mid to late game when all 5 members or even 4 members are around. They just roamed as a team, and I thought the macro was fantastic from the side of Vice City Brewmasters, but they just couldn't really do anything once it got picked, right? And that's exactly what happened. And unfortunately, the Senna damage just really never came online fast enough. And to not describe the Senna too, it's tough when your front line just instantly gets blown up and you can only do so much spacing there when there's additional CC following you up. So LG, a wonderful draft from them and a great execution on top of it as we see Bob leading the charts on that damage with the Kraken Ash. So maybe it's just what they needed for that game number 1 win.
Nah, it's fake damage. It was all on to
Yeah.
Hug Life was the real damage dealer in this game. Don't get it twisted. He's boosting. He built the Black Cleaver to help boost Bob's stats in this one.
Oh man. Well, this is a best of 3, so there's still time for Vice City Brewmaster to even up the series. We're going to take a quick break before we head into game number 2.
like do 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 do, like do 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy crazy, oh oh crazy, oh 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 crazy, do 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 crazy, do 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 crazy, do 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 crazy, do 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 crazy crazy, do do like do 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 do, like do 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 crazy, oh do do like do 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 do, like do 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 crazy, oh.
Welcome back, everyone, to Titan Esports. We are on the final regular week of Divinity League for the splits, and we just came off of a win for LG Mirage, which took a very dominant mid to late game win over Vice City Brewmasters in this best of 3. But Vice City Brewmasters still have a chance to even up the series, and I believe they had a slight roster change as well too. So Renegade will now be in that mid lane. Taishi meanwhile goes from mid lane to top lane, and they subbed out Soul Muncher for Boosted Sandwich, who Boosted Sandwich was on that top side. So the switch up could be what they need to start this up, even up this series here. I'm KO Paint, I'm Joe Chong, and how you feeling after that first game for LG Mirage?
I mean, it was a great late game for them and mid game for them, but the early game was not really going their way. The early game was kind of all Vice City Brewmasters. Nihao Dylan on the Lee Sin was putting in a lot of work in the early game, had some really good ganks going early, but I just think the composition that they drafted just wasn't it for Vice City in the mid to late game, kind of fell off in that damage profile and just were able to get outscaled and made it very difficult for them to play the game. We'll have to see how this change does affect them. Maybe it's for the better, it could be for the worst, but like we already said, both these teams are already locked for playoffs. It just depends on if they are going to be that 3rd or 4th seed. So Vice City, might not care. Like, it feels bad to say it, might not care too much about losing this match because they already have that playoff spot. They're just going to take it with a grain of salt and look forward to those best of 5 starting next week, I believe, unless we have a weird break for some reason, but I don't think we do. But I mean, for the side of Elegy, you got momentum coming into this one. You got to be feeling good about it, and hopefully you're able to close it out with the 2-0. But hopefully, the only thing you'd want to improve as Elegy is that early game. Just you had some good laning coming out from No Name, but it kind of felt like everything else in the bot lane and the top lane really wasn't going their way, and it kind of took Hug Life just dragging their team for it, and heard our producer get a little upset.
Oh, no. I think you were just getting you're cutting out a little bit there, but it ended up catching back up. So
Okay.
Things look good there. And yeah, just a wonderful draft for LG. Maybe they couldn't tighten up some things in that early game, but they kind of ensured that their team fighting, especially the 5v5 team fighting, was just far superior into Vice City Brewmaster. And it even seemed like they had a straight up 5v5 fight in most situations. A few chase down kills for Vice City Brewmasters, but anytime it came down to a big objective where all 5 members were there for LG, they just do 1, 2, 3 picks, and then they just win the fight, and it just kind of kept snowballing there with the Baron buffs going towards that final push. It was just enough for them, and Millicard just really couldn't get the Senna online fast enough. So we'll see if they opt for a similar strategy or not going into game number 2. But the good news for Vice City Brewmasters, it is fearless, so they never have to see those champions again in this series, as we see the grayed out ones on the bottom side. LG going to have that first pick, blue side, yet again to start things off.
Yeah, and I think for the side of Elegy, another thing you'd want to clean up is those dragon setups. They kind of got put behind the ball on the dragons in the game after getting the first one. It's not really setting up for them all too great, as bans have started, but we're not seeing any bans come through yet on their side. So we'll see what's going on there, because I believe Vice City should be losing bans.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so one less ban for the side of Vice City as we get the Lock, Misfortune, and Trundle banned out. And then we get a Vi on the side of Vice City, which was the ban last time too, and they banned out the J4. So really trying to limit Hug Life, as Hug Life had a fantastic game 1 performance. Makes sense. Locking out that jungler, and then that means that, well, if this ends up being a 2-0, then we will not see Lock in the regular season, maybe in the playoffs, as we get the Shinzao pickup right off the bat for Hug Life. Pretty strong, especially with the Trundle banned out too. Not a lot of really great counters to the Shinzao, but okay, we get the Jax pickup too. Jax definitely loves to skirmish. Probably gonna be Jax in that jungle spot, but you do have that flex potential into that top lane, depending on if Taishi has that up their roster or not, as they pick up Hui as their second pickup too. So again, prioritizing that mid lane pick second, just like last time for Vice City Brewmasters.
Yeah, I think this is a better 1-2 pick than they had last time because it's not just full in on the early game with the Lee Sin and the Ahri. The Hui can scale into the game and be a late game menace with damage. So let's see how Renegade performs on this one, as this could be a Jax Flex for Taishi or for Nihao Dylan. But LG just once again going to kind of draft the same way they did in game number 1. Jungle, bot, and bot lane picked up in the first phase. And like I said before, Wukong's the best jungler. Number 2's Jarvan. Number 3 after that, it's the Xin Zhao, and they get the third one. And then they get the Caitlyn Karma lane. Very strong, very oppressive lane. So the side of Vice City, they're going to respond with their 80 carry in the phase 1 picks this time instead of having it fall down. They're going to be picking up the Jhin this time, which is a little bit lower now that the Karma isn't available, because Jhin Karma is another good push lane. They're trying to look for a way to respond to the poke and push that can be coming out from Bob and Mr. Geeky this time on the side of Vice City, as the Zoe is going to be banned away. The Ornn is going to be banned away by Vice City in this one. LG going to ban away the Bard, which is an interesting ban because I'm not playing in this game. So maybe Boosted Sandwich is a Bard player, who knows? But Shen going to be the other ban away in this one. And Shen is good, compare very, very well with the Jax. You just put the Stand United as he dives into the back line and goes off. And Thresh is going to be picked in. And I've been a Thresh hater for most of the time as I have been a caster, but recently, after being forced to pick Thresh and play it after suggesting to play it in the game, and you know, the champ's pretty good, but you got to land the hooks, otherwise the champ does a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, and a great Sion pickup too from the side of LG, knowing that, you know, Sion is not going to be easily killed by really anything on the side of Vice City Brewmaster, especially the later the game goes on. Maybe they pick up something in this top lane to really weather. Oh, I like this counter pick too. We get the set pickup too. Oh, that showstopper is going to do some damage on the landing. But that is kind of one way to deal with that Sionis. We've seen, you know, even in the pro scene as ways to deal with this. If you've seen that Team Secret Wales matchup there, I think against I think it was TES, that they picked the set into the Sion.
Yeah, pawing on the set. Yeah,
it was disgusting. So yes, they don't have as much damage to take out the Sion for the rest of the roster of Vice City Brewmaster, but if you can set up that set in the right situation, that can be disastrous for LG. And, you know, I'm not really a big fan of Jhin overall, but knowing that they picked out the Xin Zhao, the Caitlyn, the Karma, so you already know you have some squishies to target, so it's not too bad. And you kind of expect that there might be something beefy on the top side, banning out the Ornn themselves, knowing there's no Shen there. The Sion's probably an easy, natural pickup, and this might be something that Vice City Brewmasters already knew was coming, so they kind of just like played right into their mousetrap there.
Yeah, I think my only issue with the Vice City draft is, once again, is who's going to be taking all this poke damage coming out from the Caitlyn Karma. It's going to be Taishi mostly, just trying to walk in, build up that grit for the W, and just like tank up as much damage as possible. But Vice City, if Boosted Sandwich isn't landing these hooks, they're really hoping that Taishi gets a fast face breaker, like flash face breaker, and hits multiple people, or Nihao Dylan gets in the backline with a good Counter-Strike stun onto Mr. Geeky and Bob. But other than that, they have to be very reactive with the draft that they have gone with in this one. While the side of LG, they don't have as many go buttons either, but if the Sional hits, it's going to do a lot, and Hug Life has an easier time diving the backline with his abilities than Nihao Dylan will. So definitely going to be a fun one. Definitely going to be a much more skill-oriented one than just an easily executed wombo combo one. High ceilings for these drafts and the hands on both sides.
Yeah, and especially on that top side too, with Nihao Dylan and Taishi on the Jax and set respectively. The Arcane Storm might not get nearly as much value, right? Because the team fights are going to be a lot more spread out than maybe a more traditional team fight. You can see, you know, Dylan having options to leap into that back line, and then Taishi, of course, with a showstopper, can really cause some havoc. So that is great ways to kind of dance around that crucial ultimate from the Victor. But we'll see, though. And again, I kind of agree with you, too. I think the Thresh is maybe the biggest question mark for me out of all 10 champions, right? Because I don't think it's like the traditional synergy for Jin per se. You know, definitely synergizes a little bit well with stuff like ADCs like Aphelios, but in the right hands, Thresh can do some things and could definitely gap close some of these matchups. So we shall see if Boosted Sandwich has what it takes there. Boosted Sandwich was the Renekton from last game, but moving into that support role as they subbed out Soul Muncher, and we do get the debut of a Renegade for this series.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how Renegade ends up doing in this one, coming in with backs against the wall, trying to get that 3rd seed in playoffs. But we're going to head to a quick break here as we wait for some technical issues. As I think I might have... Okay, thought I bugged out there for a second, but yeah, we're going to go to a quick break here as we have hopefully only one technical issue to resolve. Hopefully I do not die in the middle of this, but don't you guys go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of moments.
All right, we are heading into the game. Thank you for your patience, as this is going to be game number 2, LG Mirage versus Vice City Brewmasters. Vice City Brewmasters down a game, match point for LG, so they do need to pull off a win here, and this might be the comp to do it, as we are heading into our respective lanes. That is indeed Bob on the Caitlyn, so if you don't know Mandarin, Chinese, or etc., that's okay. Bob is indeed a name. Bob feels like the kind of name you give someone that you don't want to say their full like foreign name. You're like, yeah, we'll just call you Bob. But Bob indeed is the name for that ADC for LG.
Yeah, I think the worst part is I don't even think Bob is foreign, to be honest. I'm not sure, but I won't go on that. But yeah, I mean, his Discord at least is Bob, so that's how everyone knows who he is. You see that Taishi going for the Ignite up into the top lane makes a whole lot of sense. When you are picking Thresh, you do want to be going for that. As Renegade, going with the Arcane Comet, typically you do see that Deathfire touch on the Hui, as No Name has gone for that. Once again, in this game, is Taishi just going to force the flash at level 1. That's just the power of the level 1 set right there, just beating up on Death Laser.
Yeah, Taichi running that Conquer as well, so skirmishing power of set even stronger in these situations. They didn't go for the grass stacks instead, which is going to be good as the hook does land onto Mr. Geeky, but not really any follow-up damage, just going to spot out Mr. Geeky out of that bush for the time being.
Yeah, and I mean, Thresh is actually a really good pick into Karma, because if you are able to land that hook, she is extremely squishy. But the issue with it is you're laning with a Jhin who isn't notoriously known for his damage, but also that's because people don't build Jhin correctly. Jhin actually does a lot of damage, but obviously you're not going to do damage when you're going like Yomu's Ghostblade into Rapid Fire Cannon, which was his build for a while. So that's how Jhin like got called the no damage 80 carry, but can actually put out a lot more damage than you are expecting. We'll have to see how Millikar plays it, but doing a good job so far in this lane, staying even on CS despite being pushed under their turret already in the early game.
Yeah, and honestly, Taishi really punishing Dark Laser in this top lane could be good because if they could slow down the Scion as much as possible, then Himilcar can even do quite a bit of damage into that Scion late game with the Jhin. But we'll kind of see how it goes. I mean, Scion just kind of naturally scales anyway, so maybe that's not going to be the likely case, as Dark Laser just going to try to do as much as possible. Actually staying even on CS, though, against Taishi, so that's solid. But Ignite is still up for that set, so could look for a potential dive later on, especially as level 4 is ticked in for that set. Meanwhile, as expected, the Karma Caitlyn bot lane is going to really push these waves in, and you can see the Piltover Peacemaker just chunking the health bars of Vice City Brewmaster's bot lane.
Yeah, and I was going to say I'm not a fan of Boosted Sandwich going for the Guardian in this game. Normally you want to go Aftershock. It doesn't typically matter what green tree keystone you go on the Thresh, just because he gets value out of every tier of green abilities on the rune side. But Guardian makes sense because this is a poke lane that you are going up against. Just want to keep Hamilcar as topped up as possible in this one without taking damage. Just hold on. Nihao Dylan has found Mr. Geeky. Just going to flash away once the tether comes out, seeing that Hug Life was in the area. So, going to walk back to the Scuttle Crab. In the mid lane, though, Renegade could be in trouble.
Renegade out of mana too. Just going to walk it off there as TP is used from No Name, and Renegade probably going to TP back in response. Bob going to be caught by himself here. There's a 4th shot available for Himilcar. Himilcar can't close the gap quite yet, and just going to take a lot of damage in exchange for that. So bot lane already going fantastic for LG, even with the Karma not in that lane. And you can see Taishi, the rest Taishi haven't gone in for all-in potential yet. Maybe waiting for that level 6 as Hug Life is here, and Taishi might be caught in a tough position. Force the flash, does still have the Haymaker available. Let's see if he's going to drop or not. Use the Facebreaker, trying to do some additional damage. And Haymaker not going to do enough, and First Blood does indeed go over to Hug Life. Fantastic for Dark Laser as well to buy a little bit of space as Flash is coming back up, and lives to survive, grabbing both summoners from Taishi as well. And Taishi's going to have to take the long way back without that TP.
Yeah, I think if Taishi just doesn't use Facebreaker there, they just walk away from that play. I don't think Hug Life would have been in the range to get that last kill, but pulls him in, trying to go for the 1v1, get the 1-for-1 trade kill, or potentially just get the kill onto Hug Life, but you weren't in turret range when you got that Facebreaker, so then Hug Life is just able to get the auto attacks that were necessary to get the kill onto Taishi Miwa. So just a little bit of a misstep there, maybe not knowing the exact thresholds as they are playing in the top lane where they normally have been playing in the mid lane, and maybe not knowing the full turret range up in the top lane or exactly like the threshold of escape on the champion, just went for the counter pick. We'll have to see how they perform later in this one, because now they're punished. Like we said, they have no summoners. They should be getting to that level 6 soon, but now they're down CS on the counter pick into Darth Laser, or Darth Laser on the Scion. So can be a bit of an issue. Definitely going to have to keep our eyes on Taishi in this game, but you can see now Dragon being started up here by the side of Vice City Brewmasters. The first one not going to be going over to the side of LG like it did in game number 1. Quickly on it is Vice City, because they did have the Dragon stacking. They just did not get the soul, so maybe they think if we get the first one, we should be able to get the next 3 no problem like it was in game number 1. Chemtech going to be in their back pocket now. Cloud going to be the second Drake of the game, so that means those two are automatically eliminated from being our soul here, and potentially our last casted game of the regular season.
That's right. And, you know, things are starting to look already pretty good for LG. It's really that set matchup that we're kind of keeping our eyes on. But even if Dark Laser can't really kill the sets, just being ahead at this point, too, in CS, maybe an experience as well, just allows you to stay alive in lane, let you scale up. And as long as you avoid the showstopper in team fights later on, you'll be in a good spot. Meanwhile, the Flake's going to come through just to buy a little bit of space. But Bob and Mr. Geeky just making the most of this matchup here. Look at all those Yordle snap traps. Make it so hard to even walk up in CS. They're not really trying to freeze the wave much. They're just trying to shove it into the turret, which also can work, especially given how low Hamilcar is. Force it back at a, not an ideal timing at all, but you just don't want to get picked off here. And these top laners, they're going to skirmish a bit. Soul Furnace is there to do some additional damage, but you still have to watch out for the Haymaker. But I think we're starting to already get to the point where Dark Laser, it's hard to kill the Scion now because there's a lot of health and you're behind a level. The Grass Master's coming through. Like, what are you going to do, right? Showstopper into a Scion 1v1 is not going to do nearly as much as the Crescent Guard is going to be dropped here as Spiraling Despair was dropped. Showstopper is finally used, but I don't know if Taishi has enough damage to take out the Scion. Haymaker, I believe, is still available. Trying to use it at the perfect timing here. Facebreaker plus Haymaker might be enough to do it, and just the Facebreaker itself is enough. Actually going to just try to run out there, and Darth Laser just going to clean up this wave before going back, and Haymaker finally used, and Taishi does indeed get that 1v1 kill. A very necessary kill for Taishi to even up that top lane matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Taishi gets the kill, but misplays at the end, gives over another grass. No, I'm joking. Did give over the grass sack to the Zombie Fort and Scion, but did play that extremely well. They were kind of not playing it the best from whenever we panned up there. Wasn't very happy with how they were performing on it, but he's able to get the 1v1, get extremely close to play, gets the solo kill after getting a lot of harassed by Darth Laser, but now kind of stuck in this lane because that Darth Laser in the zombie form was able to clear away the wave, is able to just TP back, is going to shove this under turret, and since Taishi doesn't have TP, is going to have to take another long walk back up to the top lane, which means Darth Laser can just get more free Soul Furnace stacks, maybe get a turret plate for themselves too, and because Taishi has to recall now after TP, it's going to be Void Grubs going to the side of Elegy in this game.
Yeah, like in hindsight, I'm not really sure if you really need the Ignite for this matchup, right? I mean, it's kind of like a matchup that Set doesn't.
Oh my god!
Oh wow! Hold on now. Boosted Sandwich stealing a Void Grub on the Thresh. Not in my cards there. Does drop the flash for it, but that's well worth it as he denied 3 grubs onto the side of Elegy. And yeah, heroic plays from the Boosted Sandwich there. I mean, I think just bold enough even to go for that play is one thing, right? I mean, forget like the ability to do it, but yeah.
Drive-by Flay is crazy that he gets that one. Huglaive, I think, had Smite too. It just elected not to use it.
Yeah, I mean, who's thinking
definitely
that they're going to get their growth stolen from a support Thresh, right? But that's exactly what Boosted Sandwich did.
I mean, we just proved that the chances are never 0 for you to get your scrubs stolen by a fresh Thresh Flay. But I mean, does get punished, does have to burn the flash to get out there, as now Hamilcar is getting some good damage here on the Bob.
Deadly Flourish does land, but forcing Hamilcar to flash out, and here we go. It's going to be the Curtains call, but oh, wait, hold on now. Bob trying to flash out of it, but Boosted Sandwich, right position, right time yet again, and that's going to be a kill going over to the gym. Meanwhile, Renegade going to take a lot of damage there, and Huglife is going to be the one to take up that kill. So get something traded back in that mid lane. But a pretty bold Curtains call. Just say, you know what? I don't have enough shots here. I'm just going to go for the Curtains call. And burning the flash from the Caitlyn and still getting the kill is so much value for the spot lane of Vice Brewmaster. Here comes the flash, counter strike, and No Name doesn't have many places to go. Easy kill for Nihal Dylan. And go to grab that one back over on that mid lane.
Yeah, and I mean, just well played by Hamilcar in that bot lane. Gets Bob to come all the way in, burn the flash, immediately Boosted Sandwich is there for the back of us. Oh my god, Boosted Sandwich is him! He is smurfing! He is smurfing! He's in Huglife's head right now. Oh my god, that is crazy. 2 for 2 on the Thresh steals of the neutral camps / objectives. Get this guy's PC checked.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to slow down the leveling here of Huglife, as Huglife still on that level 7, and Nihal Dylan already level 8, more crucially, does have his own red buff to boots. But, yeah, that's very unfortunate for Huglife. And, I mean, as a Shinzao, who you're not really expecting a Thresh hook to steal your red buff out of, vision, but that's exactly what Boosted Sandwich did. And, we're both kind of a little hesitant on the Thresh in general, but I mean, Thresh or not, I think Boosted Sandwich is playing out of his mind in the second game.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you can't hit all the Thresh hooks. He's mostly focused on the minions and neutral camps, hits the cannon there, doesn't hit a champion. That's not his goal this game. His goal is to steal away stuff with that hook. But regardless of that, we'll go back to the bot lane play where Hamilcar gets the kill onto Bob. Very well played, was backed up, hold on.
Oh, Spiraling Despair is going to land, but Renegade is also stunned up in the gravity field, and the Arcane Storm is the thing that's going to take out the Hui. And now finally, No Name is going to be on that board, completing up that Blackfire Torch. Meanwhile, Leaf Strike is coming through for Mitsugiki, and they're trying to fight it out. Top laners are still skirmishing, but this Drake fight is probably going to be the more crucial one, as Counter-Strike is going to land on Hug Life, but instant Crescent Guard is going to get him out of there. Gravity Field also forces Nihao Dylan away from this, but they still want to go on this Caitlyn, and Himilcar does take out Bob. Now the TP is coming through from the Hui. Hug Life goes back in, it still takes the Drake, but at what cost? As it looks like the rest of the team is going to start collapsing onto LG Mirage, and Hug Life does have to give his life up. Deadly Flourish does land onto No Name. No Name burns the flash. Can No Name get out of it? Oh, and still picks up the kill back. That's huge for LG as they get something for that 2-for-1 trade there, but they at least get the Drake. As our top lanes are finding Unstoppable Onslaught comes through. Oh, the Haymaker is going to be flashed from Darth Laser, and Darth Laser just one auto way to get it, and unfortunately doesn't get the kill, but at least pushes Taishi back.
Yeah, and I mean, Nihao Dylan just didn't have the Counter-Strike when they went in for the kill onto No Name, so No Name was able to pick it up. Himilcar held the curtain call for so long in that play. I think he could have opened it up a lot earlier, and the second he does, he gets silenced by the Victor ultimate, so it means zero value out of it. The Dragon was claimed by LG. Hug Life was able to smite that one away, but the fight went the way of Vice City, so able to stay up in kills there. They're still down in gold right now just because of the CS lead in the top lane and in the bot lane, but right now it's a much closer early game than it was in that first game because LG was down quite significantly in the early game. We'll have to see how Vice City does play their mid game this time around. That top lane fight was extremely close between Darth Laser and Taishi Miwa as well, both of them almost going down there, but now bot lane turret should just be able to be claimed here by the side of LG. Gonna be that first turret in the game, which enables Caitlyn to start taking down these other turrets. Bob going with the Storm Razor first item, and I don't think that's Caitlyn's first item either, if I'm being honest here. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I mean, I see some Caitlyn's just ignore and not run the Hex Optics these days, but I think Hex Optics typically it's just a little bit better. It's kind of like the item built for Caitlyn in many ways. So you see these top laners going to continue skirmishing. Unnamed Despair is built up here as a Spiral Despair is landed onto Bob, and Bob taking a lot of damage. Here comes the Curtain's Call, and Bob saying, you know what? Just take it. I got nowhere to go. But actually, kind of baiting in the rest of the team here. Himilcar thinking, all right, this is a free kill. But they do collapse back onto the enemy ADC too. So a 1-for-1 trade. Kind of funny there, as Bob just not even going to try to dodge any of the skill shots. And yeah, I mean, the gold's still slightly favoring LG.
I was going to say, Bob did dodge it. Hold on now. Hug Life's in.
All right, Death Sentence does land onto Hug Life. Hug Life caught in a tough position. Crescent Guard is not available, so Hug Life just going to be the first to drop in this fight. Nihao Dylan looking for a little bit more as Taishi is running in and trying to go for one of these members, but it's going to be slowed up and might not be able to get anything further from it. But a quick pick off there for the side of Vice City Brewmasters as they do have the Rift Herald coming up here and looking to try to secure it. I think LG might just give this up here. As you can see, Victor already heading towards that bot side, and with their junglers still in the grave, not really much they can do to contest this. But yeah, I mean, what a start to the second game so far. A lot of action and kind of back and forth, and generally fairly even outside that CS differential. But the CS is starting to grow, and Darth Laser is going to start becoming a problem on the Scion. But we'll see if they can execute on these team fights for Vice City Brewmasters. They still have a chance in this game.
Yeah, and I do think that's kind of because Taishi did go for the first item, fully completing those plated steel caps. Not the biggest fan of that in this matchup specifically. Really doesn't give you any pressure on to Darth Laser, as Himilcar going to take a big chunk of damage in the mid lane there. But like you said, extremely close early game so far in this one between both these teams. It is just those CS gaps in top and bot lane right now, but Renegade has a significant CS lead over No Name in the mid lane this time around, so at least it's not all downhill for the side of Vice City. They did lose first turret. They did get the Rift Herald, and I think LG was fine with giving that one over just because they had already picked up the first turret in the bot lane, and, you know, the Rift Herald has less value because of that. But if they're able to break open the mid lane turret with the Rift Herald as a side of Vice City, really sets them up for this next Drake. Should be dropping it around that, like, 10-second, 15-second mark after they have mid lane shove, or to try to control the mid wave, to have push to walk into the river first and set up, look for these picks with the thresh hooks and everything. But now Boost Sandwich could be caught.
Audacious Charge comes through as Boost Sandwich is going to drop the box to buy a little bit of space. Spiral Despair is going to slow up Hug Life, and I think this will allow the Thresh to get out to safety. Now Dylan here for some additional assistance. And let's see if they're going to do anything with this or not. As the Ace in Hole is going to land on the Boost Sandwich. Boost Sandwich still feeling confident. Goes for the Death Sentence still to help out the team, but that might cost Boost Sandwich his life. No, actually does not. Just gets out to safety for now. Hamilcar is here, though, for some additional assistance, but they do deward this bush as they're looking to secure up this second Drake. And I don't know if they can really go for this now. They're going to use up the Rift Herald. Let's see if they use the Rift Herald into this fight or not. And it looks like Nihal Dylan is going to just hop into his Rift Herald, trying to make some plays here, trying to knock up some members. Doesn't do anything actually with it, but a counter-strike does land. But the gravity field is dropped as well. And Dylan, unfortunately, 1v4 is not going to do it. Taishi, meanwhile, though, TP's in. Showstopper going to be dropped onto No Name. However, no follow damage is really there, and the Audacious Charge is going to close up the distance. Lantern going to be taken out here as Taishi does manage to get out to safety. And I think overall this fight is all LG. They picked off the jungler. However, Dylan going to be respawning up in 10 seconds soon. I think this Drake is going to go down before that's in. They're looking just to push up this waves here instead, trying to get something out of this situation.
Yeah, I think Vice City just played that fight extremely poorly. Like, Nihao goes in, he had the Rift Herald angle to get stuns, but now, hold on, Taishi Miwa should just fall down here, actually gets the shield.
Yeah, gravity field and the Yordle Snap Trap is going to slow him down under that turret. No Name's going to be the one to pick up that kill. This Victor's getting pretty strong here as Counter-Strike is going to land onto Hug Life. Hug Life does get taken down. Hamilcar going to be the one to be credited for that one. But Deadly Flourish does land, and the Karma is going to be pulled in. Wait, hold on. The Karma shield is huge. Double kill going over to Hamilcar, though. However, Bob is untouched right now, just dishing out damage. And in the gravity field, Nihal Dylan has nowhere to go. Ace in the Hole is going to be dropped, and it's going to be Renegade trying to protect the support, but doesn't have enough health to do it. This fight is all over the place. The Destiny Match is going to land, and the carries just keep on racking up the kills. 6, 1, and 4 on this Victor for No Name. They grabbed pretty much all 5 members. There's a delayed ace, and they grabbed the first turret in that mid lane. They're working on the inner turret on top of it, and things are just snowballing out of control for the side of LG Mirage.
Yeah, so we started with a bad fight around the dragon, and then we proceed to go into another bad fight for the mid lane turret. Renegade, for some reason, wanted to protect boosted sandwich KDA and blocks the Ace of the Hole to die to give Bob a double kill for boosted sandwich to still fall down, leaving Hamilcar by himself. Hamilcar thinks he can clear the wave, falls down again. Passage of play, extremely questionable by Vice City Brewmasters, and now that, once again, it's Elegy just exploding the game open in the mid game, and it's now Boost Sandwich going to be caught once again here and should just fall down.
I don't know. This stretch has gotten out of trickier situations, but I don't think he's going to get out this one as the Audacious Charge is going to close the gap. There is no turret to protect him, and Misugiki actually going to be the one to pick up that kill. A little something going back over to the support of LG. Meanwhile, they're trying to find some advantages on this top lane, but the unstoppable onslaught will get the Scion out of there. And I think the really tough part for Nihal Dylan is there's so much CC whenever he jumps in with the Leaf Strike, right? The gravity field is huge, and you got all these Yordle snap traps all over the place that he just gets stunned up and has nowhere to go. Like Bob was like in melee range with Dylan, but with that really well-placed gravity field, he has nothing to worry about. And it's really been a fantastic game, really, from No Name, too, right? Just getting out of these tricky situations, even when the team gets ganked, able to get something back and barely surviving in a lot of these fights, too. He's already on 2 complete items here, and they look to grab even more advantages on this top side. Taishi going to have to get out of here as 4 members are here. This is going to be a massive haymaker if he could get it off, but he can't even get it off. Here comes the TP from Renegade, trying to find something. But I don't know if it's going to be a little too aggressive. They know No Name is not in this area. No Name does have the TP up, though. And 4 members here just to try to defend this second turret on that top side. It means that No Name gets some free farm in this bot lane.
Yeah, and this Victor is already massive and just going to get even bigger. He's still down a significant portion of CS, but sitting at 6-1 and 4 is ahead in items because of the kills and the turrets as well. And is just going to be a monster in these team fights. Just again, the free scale in this game, really no punish to him. And Bob going and getting that IE second item, going to be putting out a lot of damage. I think the reason Bob doesn't go with the Hex Optics is because he likes fighting at melee range on his AD carries. So, maybe he should switch to Samira and Neela and, might make a lot more sense. But it just feels like any time Vice City thinks they have a play, they're just instantly punished by Elegy so far in this game. A massive gold lead now for the side of Elegy. So now Mr. Geeky might have overstepped, but Nihal Dylan just not going to walk in. It's too dark on the map. Doesn't know if there's backup for Mr. Geeky there. We know that there wasn't. Mr. Geeky should be dead there, but just gets to walk away from that one as now Darth Laser just going to get to potentially hit this turret, but just not going to even risk it, and has a level advantage over the counter pick set. It's just not going the way this game for Vice City.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, even though Set has, great ways to do a lot of damage if you grab the sign for the showstopper and everything, the problem is these haymakers aren't doing enough. Like, look how big the health bar and shields are for the side. And oh my gosh, the Soul Furnace will just end the life of the Set. 1v1 under turret. Turret shots are not doing enough. And now Nihal Dylan just losing his own jungle as here comes the Leaf Strike, Counter Strike, but doesn't actually do enough. And going to be, oh my gosh, a 1v1 kill for the Caitlyn. And Dylan trying to find something, but just gets rooted up. Gravity field all over the place, too. Have to drop everything just to try to get out of there. Flash is burned. Does manage to survive, but doesn't really get anything in return. We don't even know how Hamilcar really died there. We just saw the kind of headshot on the end to end things. But things are starting to grow here as we have over a sizable lead, 8k gold differential, almost 9k gold now. And this is going to be Hextech Soul points for Elegy. This only puts them one away from Hextech Soul, which would be really annoying to play into. But I don't even know if the game's going to go long enough for that.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the game, the side of Elegy should be shifting their vision over to the Baron side, look to get a pick, take the Baron, and then end the game with this Baron buff. But once again, I'll say it again for everybody, this is E4 cap. This game is probably going to go on until potentially first Elder Drake, as now it's playing the top lane.
That sentence does land onto Caitlyn to prevent some of that damage, and the box is used. And this looks like it is going to be a shutdown going over to boost this sandwich. Maybe not the great target you want to go for. And Dark Laser is trying to survive as long as possible. Showstopper used, everything used there. But you actually do burn the flash from the side, so that is pretty nice. TP is available for Dark Laser, though, so have to watch out for him coming back into the fight. But he's going to be down for over 40 seconds. And this is actually a really great pickoff. Two key targets taken out on the side of Elegy. And does Vice Brewmaster go for the Baron at this point, too? I mean, they have a significant numbers advantage. They might be able to. But a well-placed Arcane Storm can definitely cause some havoc in this Baron fight.
Yeah, we'll have to see. You can see the side of Elegy is on their way. They do not want to give this one over. Hug Life with Mr. Geeky empowering him. No Name has no flash is the big thing in this play.
Oh, Death Sentence is going to land onto Hug Life. Defensive gravity field is dropped, and they are getting chunked. Look at the Baron damage. Nihal Dylan goes in with so low health on his health bar, and he does end up falling down. Maybe not the best engagement. The rest of the team looking like they were going to run away. Audacious starts closing the gap onto Hamilcar. Hamilcar trying to stay alive with the Baron, but not going to be the case. Here comes a TP from Dark Laser, and we do get a kill with the Haymaker, but at what cost? 4 members down. Unstoppable Onslaught trying to close the gap for the Renegade, and Decimating Smash is going to slow him up. Gravity Field is going to slow him down even more. Decimating Smash again coming through, and Soul Furnace going to chunk away Renegade. Renegade should be able to peel himself out. They do have vision on him for now, but is going to fear away the Scion. However, looks like Bob is back after dying earlier, and we go back to firm control of the game for Elegy. And unfortunately, just maybe some miscommunication from Vice Brewmaster as Dylan tried to take the aggressive fights constantly, but there's no one else to back him up, especially at that health range. There's just no way he could kill the rest of the members of LG in that fight.
Yeah, and I mean, No Name with that ultimate was just doing so much damage. The resistances were shred from the Baron on Vice City. They just have to pull off, and then there's just no way for them to really win the fight just because that even with numbers advantage, it didn't matter just because of how big Victor is so far in this game. Yes, he does fall down, but he did his job. He stopped the Baron, helped his team win the team fight. They even get the mid lane turret in that passage of play as well. So now the map is even more open for them, which means they can put their vision line even deeper in this top side because there's no inner turret in top or in mid, which means that it's even scarier for the side of Vice City to walk in around this Baron. And you can see now that Darth Laser is here with no TP, he can tank this Baron up for so long. No Name has TP in case of a play, and it's going to have to come down to a Baron 50-50. Nihao Dylan's going to have to be able to get in for the steal and attempt this one as Taishi's TPing into the pit.
Ooh. Okay, well, currents are called, so this might be the opening they need. And you can see Taishi going to be using that showstopper, dropping a massive amount of damage. The boost sandwich almost taken out right there. Taishi going to be taken out too. I don't even think he got a haymaker off. And this might be a wrap as Dylan is taken out too. Their front line absolutely gone. A few more autos should be able to do it with the smites. And Hug Life clean on that one. They do lose a Victor in exchange, but I don't think they have enough damage to take out the members here. Dark Laser just playing with his food here, but he might be overextending a little bit as the rest of the team has gone out. Himmelkar spending all shots onto Sion, but that's kind of the Sion experience, and Dark Laser still gets out of there. Going to be slowed up. He's got to be careful because the rest of the members can be joining soon, and there's just no way they could kill the Sion at all. You know, look at the items too. 3 completed items as well. Actually has a decent amount of even magic resist, so even Renegade cannot really do much into this beefy top laner.
Yeah, and now in 40 seconds, the Hextech Soul going to be on the Rift. You can see that the setup is starting to come through for the side of Elegy. Should be able to pick this one with ease and then continue to use that Baron buff to try to finish out this game. And I mean, like you said, Nihao Dylan going to have to flash away after getting tethered up by Mr. Kiki because Hug Life was there. But Nihao Dylan in all these fights is looking for the aggressive plays, and the only person who can really follow up on them in this composition is Taishi. And then they immediately just get deleted, and then Renegade, Hamilcar, and Boosted Sandwich are just left out to dry trying to play it at range, and then just the collapse is able to come through from LG because they're just not able to get through this Sion at this point in the game. It's very, very difficult for the side of Vice City, but LG still has to play it out clean because they can still throw this one away, and it would be massive for the side of Vice City if they get a huge game-winning team fight in this one.
Yeah, the gold gap is at 10k with Hextech Soul, with Baron buff. It's going to be a hard fight. But they're going to have to go for a potential team wipe here to defend this if they want to force a game number 3 for Vice City Brewmasters. I don't think LG is going to try to give them the chance here as the mid inhibitor turret is already down. So there should be a pretty easy siege, especially with the range from Caitlyn and Victor. I mean, this is not going to be a fun time at all. I see the Sion is on the bomb side, but TP is available for him if he wants to go for that. And this could be the final fight. Let's see if I say Brewmasters can hold on to this. They're trying to clear the waste as fast as possible, but Jin is not really the best champion for that. You can see Dylan trying to go for a potential flank. However, Sion does take out a turret on that bot side, and now Taishi going to try to defend in this mid lane instead. They have the numbers advantage in this mid lane, but they just can't really close the gap here. And meanwhile, Darth Laser just pushing things on that bottom side, and now mid inhibitor goes down. We might see a rotation for LG going to that bot side to join Darth Laser. We can see Counter-Strike landing onto Sion, but doesn't really do too much because they just don't have any way of taking out Darth Laser. And Ensemble Onslaught is going to stun up Dylan. Dylan goes down. Arcane Storm is going to still be held on for now, as they didn't even need to take out the Jax, and they're just beating down the inhibs of Vice City Brewmaster. Don't know if they have anything else they can do at this point as Hug Life tries to go in aggressively. Can even get a haymaker off. Yes, it does go through, but only lands onto the beefy Sion. Curtains are called, but damage is just not there. And Renegade does indeed take out No Name, though. And maybe they are able to hold off on this fight, as they took out 2 members, crucial members on the side of LG, and now they're running for it. And Vice City Brewmaster live to fight another day.
Yeah, I mean, Elegy into a little bit there at the end. They had it. Hug Life went for the dive. Nobody on his team was ready for that play, and they just get, oh my god, and then the snipe from Renegade at the tail end to kill Mr. Geeky, get a shutdown as well. I said that this game can still be thrown away by the side of Elegy, and they are starting to do that. They misplay at the end of the game to end the game there, get heavily punished for it, give over some key shutdowns, and death timers are starting to get longer and longer in this game as we're at 31.5 minutes. So another big team fight where Vice City can walk away with the win from it could be absolutely devastating and game-changing now.
Yeah, there's a lot of kills going over to Hui as well, right? And Renegade, level 17 now, we know No Name has a lot of damage in these fights, but you got 3.5 completed items and 6 stacks on the Dark Seal. This Hui is going to really start outputting some damage, and is one of the few champions on the side of Vice City Brewmaster that could kill the Scion. But still uphill battle for them. As you can see, Decimating Smash is going to land off the Nihal Dylan yet again. Just Jax has nowhere to go. Haymaker going to land on absolutely nothing. And Dylan just going to take the Lantern out of it. But Hug Life taking the aggressive approach. The Blast Cone does get Dylan out to safety. Crescent Guard is popped though, so Hug Life not taking any additional damage. And Decimating Smash is going to connect. Follow-up damage from the Caitlyn is going to do it. We see aggressive flash forward from Bob trying to look for Dylan. Not going to be the case, but might still be okay without that Summoner spell. And Dark Laser is going to take some damage. Baron buff is gone, but they do have 2 members down on the side of Vice City Brewmasters, and it's just Dylan for the front line. Dylan just has not been having a great time in these fights. I mean, what can you do? You get CC'd up, no one else there to follow up enough damage to kill everything, and now that's going to be 3 inhibs down for the side of Vice City Brewmasters. The Avengers stuck in their base with 2 minutes to go until Elder spawns.
Yeah, and I mean, just because now that the 3 inhibs are down, I believe mid and bot lane should be responding before this Elder Drake. So that means it should give them just a little bit of time to try to push out these waves and respond to the Elder Drake and look for a team fight around it. But, I mean, Elegy is slowly but surely starting to end the game, but they're still giving breathing room and life for the side of Vice City to get these plays. The Baron is on the Rift immediately on the spawn. It's going to be taken by the side of Elegy, and then they should just look to end with this Baron buff. They should not even let it get to the Elder and let it get to a flip at that late in the game, but you can see the 4th item coming in for the side of Renegade now. Picked up that Void Staff is going to actually put out so much damage in these team fights, as now Nihao is going to find Mr. Geeky.
And Mr. Geeky avoids the Deadly Flourish, but doesn't get the root on either. So going to take a good chunk of damage, but probably not that consequential, as does have a lot of shielding power for this fight. Inhibs are not respawning yet, and I don't think they wanted to. As you can see, the mid and bot inhibitor are starting to spawn up. They only got a couple seconds left, but can these turrets hold on? I mean, the top inhibitor is already down, so even if they do respawn, it's not going to stop anything. They go for a final fight here, and it's going to be both Nexus turrets down. Boosted Sandwich barely hanging on, but finally goes down. Curtains are called. However, nothing else is really being done, and Hamilcar, the lone survivor, just no way of taking the rest of the team, as Elegy takes a dominant 2-0 victory over Vice City Brewmasters in this final week of the regular season.
Yeah, and I mean, once again, it's just Vice City from the mid to late game, just absolutely... Oh, sorry, did I say Vice City? I meant Elegy. I don't remember what I said, but Elegy just dominating the mid to late game over Vice City, just making it almost impossible for them to have that avenue back into the game. I mean, Renegade tried his best, did a lot of damage in this one, but just not enough to get over the finish line, not enough to kill the Scion. No Name on the Victor, putting out so much damage, as well as Bob, and just a better look for all the members of the side of Elegy in this game number 2 in comparison to game number 1, where it was the Hug Life show.
Definitely, and Hug Life putting on a performance, but the rest of the team really close in it as well too. Despite any CS gaps and stuff, their team fighting was just far superior, and a few times maybe overextended a bit, but nothing really fell out of their grasp, especially in game 2, right? Game 1 was a little bit back and forth, especially in the early game, but game 2 felt like it was firmly in their control. Fantastic drafting from them too, right? I think their drafts were stellar in both games. Like, yes, you have that set counter pick, but if it doesn't pan out, especially in the early to mid game, that set, I mean, you can see like we're just not as useful as Scion in these team fights. And again, I mean, it's not really their fault, but I'm still personally a Jhin hater. I just don't think it's ever really looked that good in a lot of competitive formats for quite some time now. But that is going to be victory going over to LG. Both teams, I believe, will still make it to that playoffs, so they still have a shot at it. But LG at least avoids a matchup into that top seed undefeated team of Andromeda for week 1 at least, and that'll give them a little bit more time to prep for that potential eventual matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, I think as the side of LG, you can go into playoffs feeling confident about winning this last week. For the side of Vice City, I would say don't take it with a grain of salt. You had a lot of weird role swap stuff going on. Definitely everybody not playing in their strongest roles. So, you bounce back for that first week of playoffs. You get your full 5-man roster and maybe make that Cinderella run as that 4th seed. But, I mean, for that, I think that's pretty much it. I think it's just rough when you have to go in with those role swaps in the last week when you're trying to get that higher seeding. It feels bad to go for it, but hopefully it doesn't affect them too much mentally for that first round of playoffs.
Yeah, and that's going to do it for us. As always, feel free to support Titan Esports at FOFesports.com for some exclusive merch. Check it out. They have merch for all the different weather and apparel. But that's going to do it for our summer split in the regular season. Next week, Monday, same time, we go into the first week of playoffs. And it's single elimination, but best of 5s. So the drafts can go quite deep. Might get some silver scrapes going as well. And we'll see how those matchups go. We'll keep you all updated on what that first matchup will be on the broadcast. But that's going to do it for us. And shout out to all of you for tuning in, and Shirogan and Shirogan's twin for handling the broadcast and observer duties all on his own. But any final words from you, Trong?
Yeah, I mean, just excited for these playoffs. I think Fearless is best in BO5 form, so real excited to see those interesting pick comes out. Maybe that's the first time we'll get the cast lock, because it's got to come out at some point unless it's going to be permanently banned for all the playoffs. We'll have to see, but real excited to get into those playoffs next week.
Definitely, yeah. We'll see if we get that mid lane assassin in that first rotation for Divinity League. But that's going to be it for us. Stay tuned for playoffs next week. Appreciate you all stopping by, and we'll catch you on the playoffs. Peace.